Okay, so good day to each and everyone, no? So, yung topic natin for this time, it's all about cell structures and then function. So, at this moment, no, nung previous lesson natin, which is all about the levels of biological organization, and then natakal natin dun, no, na ang cell, no, ay isa sa mga basic structural and functional unit of our life, di ba? Maliban pa dun sa pinakbaba, which is yung atom, which is yung cell, ito yung preference talaga na dito talaga nagmula yung ating buhay according to the concept of the study in biology. But at this time, no, we must need to ensure that this topic should be determined the parts and then the functions of each organelles included in the cell parts, diba? So by the way, bago tayo mag-focus sa structure at saka function ng isang cell, we must need to determine first what is the cell. So, throughout the cell, no, katulad na sinabi ko kanina, it is the basic structural unit of life. And then, through the use of microscope, we can discover the internal structure of the cell, no, and determine its function through the use of electron microscope. Napakamahal nun kung gusto mo talagang bumili ng isang electron microscope. So, by the way, all living organisms, regardless of size and form, are composed of cells. Some organisms are unicellular and multicellular, katulad nung sinabi natin sa previous lesson. So, bago tayo mag-start sa mga parts, no, at saka sa mga functions, we must proceed to the cell theory na na-formulate ito ni Tidersquan at ni Matthias Clayton. Actually, meron pa yatang isa according to our to respective references. I think si Rudolf Virchow ata yung isa dito. But suddenly, dalawa lang talaga yung famous, no, pagdating dito sa cell theory. But yun nga, I think meron pa talagang isa. But by the way, no, si Tidersquan isa siyang biologist, no, na gustong pag-aralan yung mga animal tissues. Kaya some other textbooks ay nai-reconsider na rin siya na isa siyang zoologist. Then, what about Matthias Clayton, no? So, si Matthias Clayton, isa siyang German botanist. I think he is a German, no? Correct na lamang ako kung isa talaga siyang German, no? But isa siyang botanist, no? So, ano nga ba yung tatlong parte ng cell theory, no? So, all living things are made up of one or more cells. Then, yun, sa about living things, both plants, animals, and then also humans, may composition siya ng hindi lang isa, no, kundi mas marami pa na cells, no, na taglay sa kanilang body or sa kanilang katawan. And then, second, cells are the basic structural unit of living things. Actually, hindi ko na kailangan i-explain kasi nandun na rin mismo yun. Makikita na rin natin later on kung bakit. Kung bakit isa siya sa mga simple at saka mas basic na structural unit that because of some particular parts or composition. And then last one is all cells come from pre-existing cells. And then according to cell size and then structure, cells vary in sizes, no? So it's all about 1 micrometer is equals to 1 divided by 1 over 1000 millimeter. The detailed structure of a cell has been studied under compound microscope with a magnification of 2,000 times. Ganun siya katindi. Ganun katindi ang magnification na kailangan para makita mo talaga ang kanyang detailed structure na nasa loob ng isang cell. Then certain structures can be seen only under an electron microscope. Totoo po yun, no? Kung gusto mo talaga makita talaga yung mga maliliit pa, no, na hindi kayang tignan ng isang compound microscope or ng light microscope, gagamit ka ng electron microscope. Then the structure of a cell as seen under an electron microscope is called ultrastructure with a magnification of 500,000 times. Ganun katindi, no? So what are the parts and then the functions of cell? So mag-stick muna tayo sa three main parts no, bago tayo mapunta sa mga organelles no. Magkaiba pa po yung mga organelles kumpara dito sa main parts no ng mismong cell. Unahin muna natin yung cell membrane. So ano nga ba yung cell membrane or plasma membrane? So kapag sinabi nating plasma membrane, by the way, kung ano man yung nakita nyo dyan sa presentation, ayun na po yun. Ayan po yung parts ng isang plasma membrane. May mga references din kasi talaga na ginagamit. Cell membrane, may iba naman plasma membrane, but it is almost the same lang din naman. And then, through plasma membrane, it separates the cell from its environment and holds the content of the cell. Yun. So, tulad ng sinabi ko doon, it is a thin, flexible, and then semi-permeable outer covering of the cell. Then usually another description, made up of two layers of phospholipids and proteins randomly scattered or kalat no dun sa mismong phospholipid bilayer, and then separates the cell from its environment and holds the contents of the cell. And then one of the functions no ng isang plasma membrane is to protect and regulates the entry and exit of a substance in and out of the cell. So kapag sinabi naman natin doon na sa pinakaunang description niya no, semi-permeable no, namimili no, hindi ka pwede basta-basta magpapapasok. Ganun po kadalasang kahigpit din yung regulation at saka protection ng isang plasma membrane. The next, in cytoplasm. So in cytoplasm, no, it is the gel solution that can be found inside the cell membrane but outside the nucleus. It is significant for the regulated transport of material inside the cell. It consists of 90 to 95% ng water plus organic and inorganic compounds and some particular gases. Then usually, dito naglulungga or dito nakalagay yung mga organelles, no? Pati yung iba't iba pang specialized structure ng cell ay nandun lang mismo sa particular na lugar na cytoplasm. Nakasuspend, ika nga. Doon lang siya nag-i-stay. So, what about nucleus? So, nucleus is a double membrane structure suspended in any cytoplasm. And then, nucleus serves as the director of the cell. No? It controls all the other functions of the cell. So, it is also contains DNA material or the genes which serves as the template for functional processes occurring inside the cell. Yun po yun. Nandun na rin mismo siya. So, kung nakita nyo sa isang presentation, anyway, no, yan po yung internal structure ng isang nucleus na makikita natin sa isang cell. Ganyan po siya. No? Kung gusto niyo pang makita yung morphological structure niya, so ito na po yun. Meron siyang composition ng chromosomes, meron siyang mga chromatin, nucleolus, nuclear envelope, and then nuclear pores. Alam ko, it is not limited to the following lamang na nakikita niyo dyan, but meron pa yan. No? Kumbaga yan lang yung papakita ko sa inyo. What about nuclear membrane? No? So, nuclear membrane, no, it is made up of an outer membrane and an inner membrane, consists of phospholipids and then protein. Pero siyang lipids and then yung protein, which is one of the macromolecules natin, di ba? And then they regulate the exit and entrance of the substances to and fro, no, the nucleoplasm. It is impermeable to the exit of DNA but very permeable to the entrance and exit of RNA. Diba? So, what about the nucleoplasm? No? So, in nucleoplasm, it is the abundance, no, of nucleic acids to form chromosomes if it is made up of DNA, and nucleolus if it is made up of RNA. Also, the chromosomes are protein-packed DNA molecules which serve as the main template for cell reproduction and protein synthesis. No? Mas lalo natin siya maintindihan, no? Mas lalo natin maintindihan tong context na to kapag nandun na tayo sa tinatawag natin na cell division. Paproceed din tayo dun sa mga susunod natin mga lessons, no? Not now, but sooner. Mas matutuklasan natin to sa pamamagitan ng cell division, lalo na sa mitosis and then sa meiosis, no? So, the nucleolus, on the other hand, is a dark-stained inclusion of the nucleoplasm which is functioning for RNA synthesis. So, what about the cell wall? So, one of the description and appearance, no, it is a tough, no, rigid, no, and then flexible outermost covering of the cell that can be found in plants and then bacteria. So, ayun na po siya. Yan. So, yung function niya, sorry, medyo inaantok. So, yung function niya, it is to provide, no, definite shape, strength, and rigidity, helps in controlling cell expansion and protect cell from external pathogens. No, kapag sinabi natin pathogens, ito po yung mga bad microorganisms or sabihin natin na bad bacteria. Ika nga. Yun. Mas mahigpit yan sa cell wall. No? So, what about the vacuole? So, yung vacuole, no, it is a fluid-filled sacs or vesicle surrounded by the membrane. So, yung function niya, it helps to store, no, or magkaroon tayo ng storage ng food, no, water at saka waste. By the way, I just want to remind you and then to clarify na kapag sinabi natin vacuole, no, yan na nga nakita niyo sa function, but anyway, ang vacuole ng plant cell ay malaki. And then, ang vacuole ng animal cell ay maliit. Yun po. So, in chloroplast, no, it has a spherical or discoidal shaped double membrane bound organelles found mainly in plant cells, which shows two distinct regions, which are the grana and then stroma. No? So, ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng grana at saka stroma? So, yung grana, it is the stack of thylakoid which contains chlorophyll molecule responsible for photosynthesis. So, yun po yun. And then stroma, it is a colorless, dense fluid only. Ganun lang po siya. No? So, yung function niya, it convert light energy into chemical energy, no, in the form of food and provide green color to leaves, stems, and then vegetables. At meron siyang tinatawag na green color na tinatawag natin na green pigment na tinatawag natin na chlorophyll. And then at the same time, katulad na nga na sinabi ko dito, na-convert niya yung light energy into a chemical energy. Meron dito yung process na tinatawag na photosynthesis. So kapag sinabi nating lysosome, no, it is a membranous sac or vesicles and amorphous to shape, meaning, and they can change forms. So yung function niya po is to help us to digest of complex substances into simpler forms and protect cell by destroying foreign invaders like bacteria and then viruses. Ganun katindi dito sa lysosome. So what about mitochondria, diba? So kapag sinabi nating mitochondria, it is a small rod-shaped organelles bounded by two membranes. Meron siyang inner at outer part. So kapag yung outer part or outer membrane, it has a smooth and encloses the contents of the mitochondria. And then what about inner membrane, which is folded in the form of shelf-like inward projections called cristae. So, inner cavity is filled with matrix which contains many enzymes. They have their own DNA which are responsible for many enzymatic actions. So, it is one of the functions ng mitochondria. It is the site for cellular respiration, which synthesize energy-rich compound, no, na ATP. Ano yung ATP? Tawag po dyan is adenosine triphosphate. ATP molecules provide energy for the vital activities of living cells. Kaya makakonsider na natin siya na isa siyang powerhouse of the cell. No? So, what about ribosomes? But by the way, bago tayo mag-proceed sa ribosomes, meron lang ako i-clarify na baka kayo naguguluhan sa site of cellular respiration. katulad na nasabi ko dyan, which synthesize energy-rich compound na ATP. Ang pinaka-definite explanation regarding this thing is to complete breakdown of organic molecules from stored food, resulting to production and release of chemical energy in the form of adenosine triphosphate. Ganun po siya. Ulitin ko po, complete breakdown of organic molecules from stored food resulting to production and release of chemical energy in the form of ATP. So, papunta na tayo sa ribosomes. So, kapag sinabi natin ribosomes, it is a granular structures gathered in the cytoplasm or attached to RER. Ano yung RER? No, ito yung rough endoplasmic reticulum. Ma-encounter natin siya mamaya. So, katulad din ng mitochondria, ang function niya po is, hindi, tama ba yun? Hindi. Similar lang pala siya. Para siyang may pagka-similar pero magkaiba naman po siya. Kung sa mitochondria, site of cellular respiration, sa ribosome naman, site of protein synthesis. So, next, in endoplasmic reticulum, it is a network of tubular and vesicular structures which are interconnected with one another. Some parts are connected to the nuclear membrane or the cell membrane. No? By the way, no, meron tayong dalawang klase ng ER or ng endoplasmic reticulum. They are RER. No? RER stands for the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and then yung SER, which is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So kapag sinabi natin RER, no, it contains ribosomes. No? So what about yung SER, which consists of lack, no, of ribosomes? So by the way, in SER, it consists of lack of ribosomes, but it contains varied kinds of enzymes. So next, yung function niya, it is mainly for transport of material. It is the site of protein synthesis din, no? Katulad din nung sa ribosomes. But in ribosomes, magkaiba naman po sila, no? At yung ribosomes po ay gawa po sa ribosomal RNA at saka ng proteins. So, next, sa Golgi Apparatus, Golgi Bodies, and Golgi Complex, it's just almost the same. Kung may makita man kayong ganyan klase ng pangalan ng isang organelle na katulad ng ganyan, it's just almost the same, no? So, kapag sinabi nating ganyan, Golgi Apparatus, no? Yan nga. So, yung description and appearance niya, no, these are the stacked flattened membranes associated with the ER or yung C-space, no? Makikita niyo naman dyan sa description, sa mismong image, no? Yung C-space nandun siya sa taas, and then yung cell membrane natin, no, ay makikita sa location ng transphase. So, yung function niya, it helps to package and synthesize some substances to various targets inside and outside the cell. Ganun lang po. And then yung plastids, no? It is the double membrane organelles with organic compounds, and then yung pigments. So marami tayong klase ng pigments, just like chromoplast, chloroplast, and then leucoplast. So ito na nga yun. Kapag sinabi natin chloroplast, no, it contains chlorophyll, or meron siyang composition ng green pigment for photosynthesis making. So kapag sinabi naman natin chromoplast, no, from the word itself, chromo, no, it produce and store pigments that gives different colors, di ba? Yan, sari-saring kulay, no, found in leaves, fruits, flowers, and then vegetables. So sa carrot, no, ang pigment niya is yung carotene, nakapag-produce ng yellowish or orange type ng color ng isang food, 'di ba? Ng isang pagkain yan. And then yung mango, yung pigment niya is yung xanthophyll. And then yung tomato, meron siyang pigment na tinatawag natin na lycopene na nagpaproduce ng red pigments. Next, in leucoplast, are colorless plastids that stores food. And then they are found in storage organs, such as fruits, tubers, just like for example yung starch, and then yung mga seeds. Meron siyang colorless plastids, just like yung potato tubers, maize grains, and then castor seeds. Yan po. So what about microtubules, Ano nila? Yung pinagkaiba nilang dalawa maliban sa spelling, So kapag sinabi natin microtubules, it is a microscopic tubular structure made up of protein tubulin. It is a structural unit of several cell structures such as cytoskeleton, centrioles, cilia, and then flagella. So in microfilaments naman, it is a microscopic fibrous naman. Fibrous naman yung structure niya maliban sa microtubules na tubular yung kanya structure. It is a microscopic fibrous structures made up of a protein-like actin. They are smaller than the microtubules and are very important for the motility of the cell as well as for the cellular structure. So, ganyan po yung kanyang structure, So, yan po. So, mag-proceed na po tayo sa cytoskeleton. It is the form it forms the structural framework of the cytoplasm of a cell. So it is made up of network of microtubules and then microfilaments. Yan po yun. So yung function niya po, it helps to determine the shapes of the cell. And then it gives structural strength of the cell. And then also in cytoskeleton, it is responsible for cellular movement. Yan po yun. So next, in centrioles, they are hollow, cylindrical microtubular structures, So they are activated during cell division, where they irritate the formation and movement of spindle fibers during cell division. Meron po, dahil sa centrioles na yan, may maobserbahan po kayong pagkakahiwalay po ng centrioles doon during cell division, lalo na sa process ng mitosis and then meiosis, di ba? So, usually in centrioles, makikita lang naman natin siya sa animal cell. And then usually in centrioles, makakatulong din siya dun sa formation na cilia at saka na flagella. Diba? So, according centrosomes naman, So, kapag sinabi natin centrosomes, it is a membrane-bound organelle present near the nucleus which consists of structures called centrioles. So, yung function niya, it forms the spindle fibers which helps in the movement of chromosomes during cell divisions. It helps in the formation of cilia and then flagella. Po yun. So what about cilia and then flagella na kanina pa nating sinasabi? They have a locomotory structures of some cells which are both made up of microtubules. Ang pinagkaiba lang po nila, ang cilia lang po ay maliit, Kung ikukumpara man natin ito sa flagella na mahaba po yung kanyang tail, Yan. Maobserbahan nyo naman ng kanilang direction of motion. So, yun lamang po. Dito na po nagtatapos yung yung ating discussion natin towards dun sa cell structure and then function, So, if may mga questions kayo, pwede yung ilagay sa baba, and leave a comment below, and then yun lang, that's all for today, and have a prosperous new year to each and everyone, kasi i-upload ko to, eto nga, kung anong araw man yung makikita ninyo, yun na yun, makikita nyo rin siya. So yun lamang po, belated Merry Christmas and then Happy New Year sa ating lahat.